In this round of Alaska Means Business, we traveled to Wasilla to talk to Desmond and Crystal Taylor from EZT Auto Transmission. From humble beginnings, this mom-and-pop operation has grown into one of the most demanded auto technician shops in the Anchorage-Matsu area.
I used to work 2 to 3 jobs a day. Now I only work this. I believe that we can do this. And, I know it's fear, right?
Obviously, if you just stay dedicated, you'll triumph. Obviously, we're a prime example of that.
This is Alaska Means Business, featuring EZT Auto Transmission.
So one of the unique opportunities that I've seen here in Alaska is, like I was just stating, we are huge, but the population is kind of smaller and less dense as our not as saturated as it is in the lower 48s. So I think that's quite appealing to most people. Is like, they're curious. What is this Alaska about? People hear about it, they see the beauty, they see all of this, but they're like, do I really want to fly all the way up there to figure it out and find it out? But when they do, they're in awe. They end up staying, of this is a beautiful place. This is a beautiful place to grow your family, and even if you start a business, there's so many opportunities no matter what. And then you have that hometown feel no matter where you are, Anchorage, the Wasilla, the Matsu, people know you.
What I like to do first and foremost in my problem solving is obviously have I'm not gonna say in-depth, let's just say a brief conversation with the customer, because obviously they're the person that owns the vehicle, so they're gonna be able to tell me what they are experiencing. And in some instances, not every customer actually knows that they're telling me the right information, because they're saying, hey, you know what, I don't actually know how to describe that. But what I reassure them for is that all you have to do is tell me what you're experiencing. Then it's going to compute into my brain, and then obviously I'm going to come up with some kind of game plan to go ahead and figure that out.
Let's just say you have transmission cooler lines leaking or a transmission pan gasket leaking. That's not solidifying the repair and keeping it solid. If you only do up the pan gasket and you leave the transmission cooler lines leaking, you still got a leak, and that system is not solidified. You still have a leak. You're still going to have consequential damages from that. So looking at a vehicle in its entirety of solidified repair, it's that system in its whole is taken care of. One thing too that he does have some experience in is the dealership life from a mom and pop. And the dealership life, that's exactly like before you even get to touch a vehicle to see what's going on, they're handing you 4 other, hey, we got people waiting, we got waiters. Stop that one, go to the next one. Stop that one, go to the next one. Hey, sorry, I know you just touched it, but stop that one, go to the next one. You're not really given that time and attention to do that. And then you're possibly just, hey, what's that code? Oh, we'll just throw a part on there. Hey, instead of actually diagnosing it.
Well, I'm not in too much of the sales position of at the dealership. Obviously, I was a technician. So how I differ that from where I am now is that I'm able to, as Crystal said, I'm able to focus on one car at a time. Or if I had like 2, sometimes, you do have to wait on parts. That's perfectly fine. But and not every single time it happened that way, but I was bombarded numerous times, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that speaks about that, with numerous ROs, rather than just being able to methodically get this one done a lot faster, rather than 14 other jobs just sitting there waiting. Because then once again, we have to pile up, and that's not efficient.
So one thing with Desmond is I discerned that he had all these skills, but wasn't being able to grow in his environment that he was planted in. Not a lot of people did see that value. Not a lot of people did see his potential. He was kind of capped off and not being able to grow because they just put, no, this is what you're going to be, this is how it is. But I didn't see that. So essentially I gave him a business license that said EZT Auto Transmission Repair in August of 2019. And I said, I believe that we can do this. And, I know it's fear, right? A fear of having a family of 6 and what are we going to do? Mind you, COVID started. So we got 2019 and then 2020 is when we started mobily at first. We was like, okay, well, let's do mobile mechanic. We'll go ahead and get a van and do this. And because we already kind of had customers that knew. Yeah, mm-hmm. Customers knew that we did good work and they wanted him to do it. So we started doing that, doing mobile work, but then we quickly realized that in this hardcore weather in the winter time that he's not a young buck that being out there and underneath vehicles, especially like lifting up engines, let's doing this, and it wasn't good. It wasn't just good. So I started looking around for a place. We got a funny story is, if you see the blue building behind us here, we went to go look at that as a garage for us, and then we seen this building, and I said that would be perfect spot for us. But fast forward, or we found a spot. It was 800 square foot unit here locally in Wasilla. And then just because we grew exponentially, the quality of the work, the quality of the work, just everything that we had to offer, the Matsu Valley, we grew. And so I started looking around for other places, but unfortunately couldn't find anything. And then just happenstance, this place came along, and we kind of just moved right in, and this is where we've been. And prayerfully, later on, if it is the opportunity to purchase and to buy, that is something that we're looking for. But right now we look at it, stay small enough, long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough.
Big fan of communication. Even the small part of communication, how it plays a big part. From the first time as you walk, or actually the first time you get on the phone, we need to communicate, like I said, with the customer, telling me whatever he or she's going to tell me, I'll take that in. Then stepping into the appointment, we need to know if anything has transpired since the last time we've talked on the phone, if there's another issue, or if the issue just intermittently went away. That does happen. When I go ahead and figure out what the next step is, getting on the phone, communicating with that customer, hopefully they're in a phone reach and I don't have to wait numerous hours, because sometimes that does happen. We understand life happens. For them to get back on the phone with me and respond to say, hey, this is what I want you to do, or sometimes it's, hey, I don't want you to do that. But long as it's communicated, and then once that's finalized, whatever repair they actually approved, then obviously, hey, it's Mr. and Mrs. Customer, come pick this up. And then, recommendations. If we see something, we definitely will say something. I need to coin that, because I say that quite often. If I see something, I'm gonna say something.
You can put your name out there. You can start a business. You can, if you are passionate about people and your purpose, that you can really flourish. In Alaska, I feel that way, especially for up and coming entrepreneurs. There's not a lot of hold back, like, people slapping your hand, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. There are more opportunities to be able to explore and grow. And some people fail and some people learn, but those mistakes can just fire you up to keep on going. And I think that's one thing that we do have up. The good things that we have as far as just starting a business in Alaska, that is endless possibilities. We can do the repairs and the work and get the workmanship and get the vehicles out, but we need the parts to be able to do it. And not all the time that the parts are here and readily available. We have to outsource them, and they have to come up from the lower 48s, either via barge, via plane. So having that distance, like we're in another country, people forget about us. And plus the shipping is like, good Lord. I love coming to work. It does have this industry is a very hard industry to be in, hands down. I've been in customer service for a very long time, and I've had working at places where it's like everybody's just happy-go-lucky, and this isn't not a happy-go-lucky place. This isn't a place where you go ahead and get on the phone and call and say, hey, that your car is having issues. It's going to be possibly costly for a repair. People really are not gung-ho about that. So we always try to, I always try to be optimistic. Hey, look, he always says it's just a vehicle. It can be fixed, and then you'll ultimately have the ball in your court and deciding factor on how it. So if we go back to circling, is this the best day ever? Yes, I do. I get to own my own business. I can run it with my husband. I used to work 2 to 3 jobs a day. Now I only work this, and I'm able to have more time and freedom to be able to go ahead and do things and be with the family. And then making it our own culture and vision of what we can do for people, and serving, continuously serving, no matter what it is. I love doing that. I honestly do. So
I say responsibility as a business owner would be to serve your community. In this instance, since we're in the service industry, continuing pushing out quality repairs and serving your your community?
We're focusing on you, we're focusing on your vehicle, and we're focusing on the longevity of your vehicle for its life. You're not just a transaction here. We want loyalty. We want to have a long-term relationship for you and possibly your generations after that, because you will have kids that drive. So we look at that, we really truly take that into consideration for every vehicle that comes in. We're in the people industry no matter what we do. It's all about people. I mean, we're humans, and people work hard for their money, and they want to be able to trust in somebody that they're going to give their money to, that is going to be making sure to take care of what they entrust them to do. So that's one thing that we do. We have a loyal client base, that quite frankly, they're like, I'm not want to give your number away because I don't want, but they do. We talk about the vision of expanding, but really focusing on the foundation here. I've always thought about getting a bigger place and then possibly having a small unit of apprenticeship, to train others and grow them in our facility as well. That's some of the things that I've thought that we can do, because he really does. Yeah, he really does care. And he usually takes people under the wing, and then grows them. He's like, hey, there's things that I can never take from you. One is the knowledge that I implant in you, and the techniques and the education that you get from here, and then your tools. And from that, you can grow and go. Don't let fear overtake you. Hands down, if that, I wish we would have done it sooner. As you hear a lot of people say that, why didn't we just do this sooner? We know we have this skill set. We just had to believe in ourselves.
My advice, if I gave it to my younger self or anyone else, where I am now 6 years ago, is just keep pushing. That's one thing that I would say, keep pushing, because there's been plenty of times, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more in the future, that you think, what am I doing this for? But obviously, if you just stay dedicated, you'll triumph. Obviously, we're a prime example of that.
There's God-given skills, and then you have to go ahead and, you have to apply them. You can't just sit and just hope for things to happen. You have to work for it and make them happen. If you have a vision or if you have a dream, well, you got to get up and start networking and making a path and meeting with people that are doing that and saying, hey, is this something that I really want to do? And then go forward. Just do it,
Scary as it is.
Yeah, it is scary, hands down. I mean, money, time, investments. Get some good people on your team that you really know, that you can trust. Don't just jump into it and get into debt, right? With it, you want to make sure that, but don't let that hold you back. Because if you do, then you could have been further along than you are now than you could have been if you just believed in yourself and continued on. So.
If you know an Alaskan business or business leader you think we should feature here on Alaska Means Business, please nominate them at alaskameansbusiness.com.